Hi, welcome to Troll Talk, brought to you by GamerDoc. I'm here today with Next Level members Josh Glantzman, Josh Hoffman, and Stephan Elliot. Guys, the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is definitely Indy. You guys did great in the limited formats. How did that feel? I mean, like, what was it like being in the top 8? That's got to be a huge thing. It was great for GR. We had 3 members up there.
Like, it was fun. It was like top, like, I got to cruise through the Swiss with a really busted draft deck, and then, like, it felt felt like another draft. It just felt like another draft in one of the shops around here. Then Hoffman, ended up losing to Hoffman in the quarterfinals.
So just like every other draft year?
Yeah, pretty much. Just like, we just like screwed around. All our buddies watching us, and then he's lost.
How many people were in your guys' pods? Or
like, it's set up. It's a 64-man draft open.
Okay.
Hoffman and I were in the first one, and Elliot was in the second one. And
so it was 64 in both, or
64 in each. They were 2 separate tournaments.
Right.
And there's 8 pods of 8.
Yeah.
And the winner of each pod will go on playing the top 8, which is a second draft.
Okay.
And so you have to 3-0 your pod to make the top 8. And Hoffman and I both did that. I did with, like, on the back of some invisible stalkers and butcher's cleavers. So it's, just like a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good.
For the folks back home, Invisible Stalker and Butcher's Cleaver is like the nut high, so don't draft them when you're up out with me.
Okay, thank you.
Some friendly advice, right?
So why are they not drafting them? So,
No.
so you can have them?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good. Yeah, don't draft them when you're with Elliot because he wants them.
Yeah.
All right.
Combination.
Hoffman, you're the one I want to hear from here.
Well, first thing I want to say is I was really impressed at how structured it was. Like, I've never been to the SCG Opens, like constructed or otherwise or limited. I was really impressed at how, like, it was very regulated, everything was timed correctly. They had the cards stamped, like the pre-open booster packs. I didn't expect that, honestly, from an SCG Open. I mean, I've been to, like, GPs where they do that with sealed pools and stuff like that, but I've never seen it at, I've never been to, like, a smaller tournament, a cash tournament like that, where they had that, so that was really cool. To be honest, I didn't think I was even going to end up in top 8. It was really awesome. My deck was pretty whack. My first draft deck, I thought I started the pod with a lot of bad players. And I tried really, really hard. I just assumed I was drafting the good players because, it's only 64 people, and everyone, if you travel to a Magic tournament, you better be good enough to win it. And I thought the signals were all really bad. I tried forcing a color. It didn't really work. I don't know, it was just a really weird deck. I ended up tri-color. I didn't want to be. I had to just because I didn't have playables. And I had to, Glantzman saw I had to top deck my last round just to get in the top 8. I had to Civilized Scholar into a creature to discard it to get lethal in that turn after I had survived off the top deck off the looter the turn prior. So, I barely got in the top 8, but, it was just an awesome experience. Like, Glantzman, high five when we were both in top 8. It's just awesome to see 2 people from GR in there. Yeah. Like, we all knew Glantz would be in because his deck was so good. So, I was surprised that I got in, but, I was happy. Yeah, I was more relieved than anything once I got in the top 8. I actually think I felt less pressure in top 8 than I did in the field of 64. Because in the field of 64, it's always one and done. Right. But once you're in top 8, I feel like that's just gravy. Like, you made the top 8, and now you can play, play the game you want to play, do the best you can, and then, whatever happens, happens at that point. But
were you pissed that you kind of got land screwed there, or man? Well,
I was mad at the moment. Yeah, I was upset. Game 1 I was pretty upset too, just because I felt like I didn't really do anything game 1. Like, my deck was full of a ton of removal spells, a lot of action spells. I didn't play a single one in game 1. For people who watched it, you probably just saw a lot of bears. That's all I really played in game 1. It was pretty poor. And then game 2, my 7 card hand I kept was awesome. It was Mountain, Rolling Trembler, which I just assumed was insane against him because his deck from game 1 was just all little bears. It was basically Wrath of God against him and not against me because all my stuff had 3 butt or bigger. But I had Mountain, Rolling Trembler, 3 blue cards, and then Rocket Share. And I just kept it because I just thought Trembler would get me there, and I ripped my 3rd land on the next turn. I thought I was okay, and then all I drew the rest of the game that was playable was a Riot Devils, and then I just drew mountains. 9 of my 10 mountains with, I think I had Grasp of Phantoms, the Armored Scab, I don't know, a couple other I had good blue cards in my hand. The Grasp of Phantoms was the important one though, because I needed the turn he played Pitchburn Devils for lethal, so.
For sure.
But yeah, it was a good experience. I can't say I regret anything. I mean, I thought my keep was fine. I mean, some people might disagree with it, but Rolling Trembler was the best card against him, so I had to keep.
I gotta say, when I was watching you play, I noticed you had a really mean poker face. You never once let a signal go to that guy at all. You were just sitting there like, I don't need mana. I got this. And I could have never guessed what was actually in your hand.
Right, I get it from a lot of people, and I mean, like I said, it's just one of those things that whether your hand's horrible or your hand's amazing, you gotta play the same way. You gotta play tight regardless. I mean, you could have a handful of removal spells and the best creatures in the format on the table, and you still gotta play the same way. You gotta play tight, especially on a field like that. I mean, you're playing top 2 at the SCG Open. You can't play loose, and I had to make him think I had something, even if I didn't. And the more frustrated I get, the more information he's just gonna get from me.
Right.
And I did think I had him the whole game too. I mean, up until the turn he played the pitch, like he played the little enchantment on me that makes me attack every turn. All my creatures are Fable. I was like, all right, I don't care about that. And then he followed it up with the Pitchburn Devils, and that's when I knew I was in trouble at that point because I needed to draw an island that turn for my Grasp of Phantoms. If I had it that turn, I had enough mana to do it that turn and flash it back the next turn. And I think he was at 8, and I was swinging for 4 that turn, 5 the next turn because of Rocket Share. But so I mean, I felt like I had that.
What did you end up walking away with there, money-wise?
It's $200 for second place, $500 for first. I actually regretted it because I looked back and I never even asked him if he wanted to split it. I kept telling myself, I was like, oh, I should ask him if he wants to split going into the finals because I thought his deck was pretty well matched against mine. My deck was really slow. I had I think 7 or 8 3-drops, a bunch of 4-drops, and then like some 5s and 6s with early removal. So I thought if I drew my early removal, I would have I'd be really favored against him. But he had like the mono 1 and 2 drop deck with apparently some crazy late game that I didn't know he had in the last game there when he played the Angel, Pitchburn Devils, and then a couple other bigger creatures that I had never seen in games 1 or any of the other top 8 games because I hadn't seen his deck played. So, but it was a good experience. I mean, I'm glad I walked away with the $200. I still haven't gotten the check yet, so it'll be nice when I get it. But
right.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience.
How'd you do? I heard what happened was he got in the top 8, and everybody on the Facebook forum was excited.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody stopped paying attention after that. And then there was a wall post from Glantzman, just kind of like, oh, hey guys, Elliot's in top 8.
Yeah.
And nobody commented. Or even seemed to care. It was, we've been down this road before.
No, so. They actually went and got food when I made the top 8. So
all of us.
Yeah, like I drafted this nuts blue-white deck and made the top 8, and we're all celebrating. And they're like, "Hey, we're gonna grab food, Elliot." And they're like, "See ya." And I'm like, "Okay, it's time to rock the top 8." And I was getting weird signals. Like I got pushed into green-black, and it wasn't a deck I preferred. Like, it's not really a good archetype. I don't like green in this format very much at all.
Absolutely not.
But I got paired against blue-black Flyers deck, and I lost to multiple Moon Herons. And I don't know, like it was bad, but I mean I did what I could with it. But my deck in the Swiss was nuts. It was like, and I had the Overseer, I had triple Claustrophobia, I had 2 of the Looter guys, Rebuke, it was nuts. So.
Nice. With that, in Limited, you guys, you did the Infinite Magic cast where you predicted the set, what you thought was going to be great in Limited and Sealed. I know you two weren't a part of that, but you guys obviously know what you're doing in a limited event. So what do you think now? Do you think any predictions that you had then were wrong, and are there cards now that you didn't think of back then, that you just didn't think would be good? Because I mean, honestly, to me so far, Claustrophobia just seems ridiculously good. It shuts down Bloodline Keeper, shuts down Skursdag High Priest. It seems really good, and it seemed like it was really undervalued.
Yeah. I think, I said we talked about that in the other video, and I think Nick actually said he thought it was like the best blue common. And it probably is. It's probably one of the better removal spells. And like, there's like a bunch of like little synergies that I wasn't thinking about when we did that video.
Yeah. Like
after playing a lot with it, like there's so many different things. Stitcher's Apprentice is way better than I thought it was. And now I hate Armored Scab.
Stitcher's Apprentice? That's the flying.
I love Armored Scab.
The flying reckless whip.
Stitcher's Apprentice is 1 and a blue for a 1/2.
Oh, yeah,
and
sack.
yeah, you put a 2/2 into play, and then you can sacrifice a creature.
Yeah.
So it turns Morbid on, and it has a lot of cool synergies. with just like being able to kill your guy and then either reanimate if you have like unburial rights or like fueling your
Rage
yeah.
thrower.
Yeah, fueling the rage throwers or like the makeshift maulers or whatnot.
Right, it's a situationally insane card against removal too.
Yeah.
Against people who don't quite understand the card, or a lot of times you have instant speed removal. You're always, I mean, I guess the majority opinion is that you just use it on your opponent's turn. You don't use it on your own turn as if it were a sorcery. And Stitcher's Apprentice makes you play differently with a card like that.
Yeah.
You can't just always do that because then you're just giving them free value out of their cards.
Yeah.
I can honestly say every single draft that I've won in this format, I've had 2 Stitcher's Apprentices in my deck. Every single one. So
Seems pretty good actually so far.
yeah.
What would you, if you had to pick one card that you would get? Whole set. What would it be? What would you open?
Angelic Overseer.
Angelic Overseer.
Or Invisible Stalker.
Really, really, that drops.
Invisible Stalker's that good, yeah.
Is it really that good?
I didn't think it was that good originally, and after seeing like other people play with it, I saw Glantzman play with it a lot. It's just one of those cards like there's really nothing in the format that deals with it. There's no edict effect other than there's Tribute to Hunger and Liliana, but
and Tumbler.
right, and like it's an uncommon and a rare, and it's just not something that you can really beat like consistently. You can't beat the card consistently when you have other cards aiding it. Like when you just have simple cards like Silver Inlay Dagger, or whatever, or Bone Splitter. I mean, Spectral Flight, Fur of the Bitten. Anything that's a cheap card that adds a lot of power on that guy is just a ridiculously fast clock to race.
Yeah, I can honestly say that I first picked Invisible Stalker in the when we were in the 64-man part of the Draft Open. I first picked Invisible Stalker over Bloodgift Demon.
Really?
Yep.
That was your not Bloodgift Demon. You were looking. What was it? The Bloodline Keeper. That was your.
That was my pick for the best
that was your
bomb.
pick for the best
Since then, I've realized figured out that Angelic Overseer is better. It was just impossible to deal with
Yeah.
at all. But
especially if you have it with a Stalker.
yeah, but I think Invisible Stalker is better than most of the rares. Like my deck had 3 Invisible Stalkers and 2 Butcher's Cleavers. Like that is almost impossible to beat. If you go turn 2 Stalker, turn 3 Cleaver, like you cannot race that. You better have an artifact removal spell in your hand, or you're just gonna die. Because
Yeah, I was playing my last Swiss round and I beat Bloodline Keeper and Essence of the Wild, like both in play with multiple 6/6s, and I just had Invisible Stalker and Butcher's Cleaver and won the game.
Okay.
Like it's that good.
It's just like good. Okay. I mean, it seems really formidable. I mean, I had one yesterday. I didn't have any equipment to go with it, but it was just my deck was just basically stall and get you with Invisible Stalker. So it was pretty nice. I can relate, but I haven't really seen any synergy with it, but I can understand.
There's always a
You can't
way
deal
to
with it.
there's always a way to pump it. There's so much equipment in this format that I saw people main decking Ancient Grudge. I voted mine in almost every game in the Swiss because I always saw something I just wanted to deal with that badly. And then there's other cards too, like I mean the Elder Cathar, the old man guy that puts counters. Like all you have to do is just put one of those guys on defense with your Invisible Stalker out, and they don't ever want to attack.
Yeah.
Because they're just gonna, you turn up the clock on them by an extra 2 or 3 turns just by blocking with a guy. There's too much upside with Invisible Stalker. There's like incidental interactions with it where you don't think about it either. Like, hey, Butcher's Cleaver's good in my deck, but it's just nuts on this guy. So I mean, all the cards that are good with him are good with other stuff, which is why he's good.
Yep.
You don't have to go out of your way to be synergistic with it.
Right. Okay. So what do you think? Do you think Stalker effectively replaces Squadron Hawk in Cobblade?
No,
No.
not at all. It doesn't. Like people are already starting to play Tribute to Hunger because of Geist. So I mean, the fact that card's being played already, I think downgrades it a little bit. And the fact that, I mean, yeah, I understand. Like people say it's functionally the same. It's harder to deal with in Squadron Hawk or whatever. But Squadron Hawk was a shuffle mechanic. It was, it was just a recurrable threat. Like if they dealt with the first one, you always had another one. There's just always something there, and it bought you more time against aggro. I think that was the biggest thing about it. That you're not ever going to be chump blocking with Invisible Stalkers to buy you extra turns against aggressive decks. If you do, you're not going to win that game. So I mean, that was why Squadron Hawk was so good. It just bought you so much time in the aggro matchups, I think.
Yeah, and it was a win condition in the control matchups too. Like you never really had to tap out in the later games. You just play Hawks, and you never really ran out of cards when you had Hawks either. So you could always keep 7 up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Cobblade was a deck that just mulliganed really well. You could mull it. You could mull to 4 and have a full hand on turn 2.
Right.
Yeah, or even against like blue black, you could keep like 2 land Squadron Hawk, and that might even be enough against blue black sometimes.
Right.
So what are you guys' predictions, and where do you see Standard going now as far as what's taking over the meta? Do you see a deck that's just gonna, I mean, there's no, I understand we still need 2 more sets before we have a full Standard right now, but like there doesn't seem to be a Cawblade or a Valakut out there right now. What do you see taking over that spot?
I don't know, like there's a lot of decks that are really could become dominant, like Solar Flare's really popular and really strong, Red's really powerful. Like Red's way better in this set than it has been in like a long time.
Do you think that's a lack of, just because of lack of other cards? I mean, it's...
No, I think I actually think the Red deck comes from enough angles where it's a real thing regardless of, like, to beat Red deck this week, if you looked at the SCG Open in Tennessee's results, like the decks were playing like 3 to 4 main deck timely reinforcements and main deck Celestial Purge, so that it could have game against Red. Like, that's a ridiculous amount of hate to just beat one deck.
Right.
And like that's what it has, but that's what it takes to be able to beat that deck. So like, I think it's gonna be a real deck, regardless of whatever else is happening. Like that deck's gonna be good. Solar Flare's gonna be good. The Rug deck looks like it could be good. It has like a lot of issues it needs to work out still. It needs to be tuned a bit, but like there's a lot of decks that are on the rise, and then that ramp deck came out of nowhere and won the Open this last weekend.
Yeah, what was that? I heard about it. I have no idea what's in the deck. I just heard that it was retarded.
Like his deck was like incidentally good because like people took out counter spells and stuff a lot this weekend, so they could have more game against like Red, because counter spells are pretty mediocre against the Red decks. And and this guy just played ramp spells, Primeval Titans, the 5-drop Garrick, and then his Primeval Titans got Inkmoth Nexus and Kessig Wolf Run.
Okay.
And so like you had to deal with Inkmoths, Wolf Runs, Garricks, Titans. Like, he just came at you with a ton of like huge things.
Seems really, really.
Yeah, he's playing one of the best cards against Red deck too, which is Viridian Emissary. Because you don't ever want to just get it out of the way and give them a land. A lot of times you have to, but you just speed that deck up so much. Like when you just get to play your 2-drop, eat a burn spell, so that's less coming at your face. Then you get to like play your Solemn on turn 3 or whatever every time, or play a Garrick and just make wolves and just sit there and block forever. So.
And he's not a human either. You can block Stromberg Noble any day.
Right.
Next level. Where'd you get the name? Where'd you guys come from with that?
That was Kyle Saudi's fault.
That was Kyle Saudi's
Well,
fault.
not the name. I think Chris Jameson came up with the name.
Oh, the shirts were Kyle Saudi's fault.
Yeah, the shirt. Kyle Saudi, we love you.
He's your #1 fan.
He is.
Yeah,
he is.
But you guys all had when you went to, where was it that you went to?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah, and you guys all had the Cawblade / Lavamancer deck.
That
Nationals.
was nationals.
Okay, it was nationals. All right, so you went with that. Is Next Level bringing a deck? Are you guys all bringing your own decks? How are you guys doing it this time?
For
or
what?
if you don't want to give up the information. Are you guys going to States this weekend?
No, most of us I think are sitting out. I think Edge and I might go, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
And as of like this moment, we have no idea what we're doing at all.
Yeah. I think some of us plan on going to the back-to-back PDQs in early November. A few of us are at least, probably as many as are assured going to States right now. So.
Yeah.
Are you guys are gonna be at the 100-man though?
Yeah.
Or the brawl?
Yeah.
Calling it out.
Yeah, gotta go to the brawl. Gotta like we've been we're around everywhere. We're winning everything in Grand Rapids. Might as well keep going.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's how it is. I see. You guys should come into GamerDoc next week for FNM. Definitely. Not this week. Well, if you're not going to States.
What's price support look like?
Price support? Actually, what is price support?
Everything that's good.
Everything
Plus
that's good plus 5.
Okay.
So,
I can get down with that.
all right.
It's a bit of a trek, but
Awesome. We get to get some Team Top Deck versus Team Next Level. Make a thing of it. You guys can come in and stomp us.
Sweet.
And then we,
yeah. Free money. I'm fine with that.
No, but guys, I appreciate you coming in onto the show. You're welcome back anytime. I'd love to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Very much. Sorry, Mitchell Sachs, I didn't have time to get you on the show today. You guys have anything else to say before we go?
I just want to do a shout out to the community. I think what's going on in Grand Rapids is a really good thing, especially the Facebook page. It's really good. We got a lot of communication going around with a lot of people in the area, and I think the Magic scene's growing considerably in the past few months, and I think it's a really good thing, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see where it's going.
Yeah.
Real quick, with that brings up another point that I made with Art Edson on the last episode. When they announced the brawl, it seemed to. Did you guys notice like kind of a change in the community, like a tenacity? It seemed like it wasn't just.
There was a huge push.
Yeah.
Huge.
How do you guys feel about that? Because to me, I love it. I love the way it
Yeah.
feels now to just go after.
Like, I started playing, like, Magic competitively, like, in years, like, maybe like a year and a half ago, like, when around when World League came out.
Okay.
And, like, since then, like, the Magic community has grown considerably. Like, everyone's more active, everyone's doing, like, more things, people are working together, people are talking more, like, there's a lot of, like, people rubbing the wrong way, like, when I first started playing, and, like, there's still a little bit of that, but, like, it's gotten a lot better, and, like, people are working together, and, like, we've got judges now, we've got, like,
Art
six or
Art
seven,
Edson,
yeah, like, we've got, like, 6 or 7 stores that are, like, you know, FNMs and, like, Grand Prix trials and, like, all sorts of large events, and stores are talking about sending players to events, and that's great.